Right then, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson. A little bit of breaking news today, and I think there could be something in this, and it's exciting news. And for everybody talking about everything with Maguire, I'll be having a look at the Maguire stuff tomorrow morning, probably, if you want to tune in for that. But we're definitely going to be getting into Maguire. But I think this is the one that we need to talk about tonight. The stuff with the possible takeover. So there's been a lot of talking in the last couple of months about potential takeovers, some with more reality than others, I would probably say. But Tony O'Neill from Webby O'Neill channel, who's someone I would trust at face value of any information that they kind of get generally, to be honest, when it revolves around the club. Tony's incredibly connected. And gets a lot of stuff that's sometimes worth listening to. In this instance, I'll just take what he said at face value. Here's what's been said, and I've got a link to that video if you want to go and watch it for yourself. But I'm going to give you what has been said, and I'll give you my thoughts and reactions to it as well. So there is another consortium, or should I say a consortium, because I don't believe the other consortium exist outside of anyone else's imagination. So there is a consortium of approximately 5 people that have come from around the world. Their intention is to put a proposal into Manchester United for 26% of the club, but they are hopeful that that rises to 51% of the club. They have since supposedly put in a proposal to Manchester United for that 26%. A confirmed written offer has gone in for that 26%. With the hope of rising it to 51%. The 26% has been valued at approximately £1 billion. United have put in a request for proof of funds from this consortium, and they're waiting for them to get back to them on that. United have supposedly got that now in their hands, and progress has gone a little bit further. Tony makes a mention of fan ownership, but I'm not sure he's aware of the details, or he didn't go into the details about specifically how that fan ownership would work. He did say that there would obviously be some sort of a business element to that, but the details on that are just smoke at the moment. There are none. So there was apparently some sort of fan ownership desire with that. But as has always been the case, when it comes to buying something worth in billions, unless you're looking at someone maybe on their deathbed who wants to give it up as a present to the fans, who's got billions lying around that they can just give to Manchester United fans? I find that sort of hard to believe that that would necessarily be the case. So that's what I'm saying. Who's moaning about sound? English lad says there's no sound. Okay, well, turn your volume up, lad. Okay, so further details are going to be revealed very soon. And he said very soon, not like at some point. Seems to be pretty confident on that. The consortium members are meeting the Glazers. The Glazer meeting is on the cards and is being organised. So that sounds like things are happening. It says they're also arranging to meet the Glazers through an intermediary. The consortium do plan to meet with Jim Ratcliffe. At the moment, he's not involved in it, but they do plan on meeting with him. More than one party's already involved. Seem to be suggesting that the class of 92 lads are not involved in any way, shape or form currently. Didn't allude to the fact that they might be in the future, just said they're not involved in it currently when he was asked if there's any ex-players involved. But it did seem like there was potentially some ex-players involved that weren't specifically class of 92, or I don't know if I was just reading between the lines on that one, but it seemed like it. When asked if Michael Knighton was involved, his reply literally made me laugh out loud, because he was like, absolutely not. He's got fuck all to do with it, because of course he's not. It is expected that the group is going to include 2 or 3 of those being United fans, is what Tony mentioned in there, and expected to welcome United fan questions once they've managed to actually make contact with the Glazers and they've spoken with Jim Ratcliffe. It's expected full ownership would be difficult to obtain because of the sheer cost of the club, but significant progress supposedly being made to the tune of £1 billion for 26% of the club, and dialogue is continuing between the consortium, the Glazers, and obviously United. That's what Tony's reporting. The video is linked in the description if you would like to go check it out. It's a good enough channel to go and subscribe to anyway, so I'd recommend you do go and do that. But what I would say is, I'm not sure of the exact percentage that's available through those second-class shares currently on the market. How the Glazers then go about doing a private sale to this, and how that affects, let's say you guys at home have got a couple of £100 worth of United shares in those second-class shares. I believe they're called A-class shares, and it's the B-class shares, which sounds like they should be worth less, that are actually worth more. They have voting rights. I think they're worth 10 times the A-class shares. I don't know how it goes about with you guys having those shares. Do you get a cut of that? I don't know. I don't know how any of that sort of stuff works. 26%, little bit disappointing in all honesty, because you're thinking like, right, Takeover, get them out of here. But 26% seems, it really gets your hopes up, and then it's kind of like a kick in the bollocks at the same time. They're still going to be here. They're still going to be influencing stuff. But we have seen at other clubs where, to be fair, it's not gone well. You've got one ownership group with a significant percentage, another ownership group with a significant percentage, one wanting to put money in and the others being a little bit more tight-fisted. It generally doesn't ever go well, but that tension alone and having that 26% inside the boardroom might be powerful enough to initiate the additional 25%, to be able to get it up to a voting capacity where fans may or may not be involved. And maybe this consortium, I think the best thing this consortium could do would be to maybe raise that additional billion through fan ownership somehow, so that the consortium and the fans could work together to make things happen for the football club. I think that might be a beneficial way to do this. So it's an interesting one. I am going to come to some questions in a second. Like I said, this isn't my consortium. This isn't my bid. Like I'm about wishy-washy on anything outside of what I've already just said. So Shane there with a super chat says, with the 26%, does that leave the Glazers? How much power does that take away from them? I'm not sure of what percentage. I think is it 10 or 15% of the club that is already on the market, but those shares are worth a tenth of what the Glazers are worth. So what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? Dara says, will the Glazers have to pay off the debt before the sale, or can they sell the club with debt? I believe you could sell the club with the debt. I think you just have to fully disclose it to the owners before buying. You can't sell it and then be like, oh, by the way, that's you. I think you just have to disclose it in the sale. It's North OMG says, Steve, 26% is at least a start. Yeah, I absolutely completely agree. 26% is a start, and if there's a desire to get to the 51%, which was mentioned a few times during the video, then that's something I would absolutely welcome as well. John says, looking forward to that clown's next video. Oh, it's going to be a good one. Machiavelli says, hope it's true. Webby and Neil also said Poch was done and United's next manager. Again, sometimes things change. That might have been accurate. I don't know who they're getting their information off, but sometimes I've been wrong before. I've been told by a player's agent that a player is signing for United that weekend. The very next day, United announced Lukaku was signing, because that player was led along, but he was telling everyone he was signing for United, and he dyed his hair red at the same time. Looked her right, Dick. Jed says, I'm wary of mysterious consortiums. I am as well, to be honest with you. But I think the fact that they're potentially reaching out to fan channels off the top of this anyway, and like I said, for those who don't know Tony, should go and do a little bit of research into Tony and see what the script is. Gaming Midget says, doesn't ring true. This isn't how takeovers work. You wouldn't approach the club with part ownership, and they wouldn't have the authority to arrange the future 25. They need to approach the individual shareholders. The thing is, though, the shares that are for sale are not worth the paper they're written on. You could go to the owners direct because they own a significant percentage. No, it's North OMG says, how long do you think it will take to go from the 26 to the 51? I don't know. I have got zero insight into how this deal is going to work, so I don't know. Simon says value is not 10%. They rank equally, only voting difference. Okay, but to me, mate, the value is in the voting. Otherwise, what's the point in having them? You're just making a gamble on the fact that they might be worth a little bit more when actually, historically, you've been shown that the shares at United have actually been devalued rather than gone up in value. Brian says, can be guaranteed that Knighton is going to claim full credit for this happening. Couldn't possibly comment. Levi says, video's a bit stop and start for me. Internet's not been great up here recently. And we'll see about getting it wired again, because it was wired and it's gone. How do I see a full-time Devil's Cap here? No, this is through Dark. Any English press running with this? No, not just yet. I don't think there's any English press that have touched this just yet, but it will be interesting to see who and when starts to pick up on this. I'd definitely keep an eye on the likes of Andy Mitten and see what he's got to say on any of this, because it will be interesting if he can collaborate or corroborate what's been said. What do I think about what Brandon said? I'm going to be honest, I thought Brandon looked drunk when he was talking. Gaming says you don't get billionaires putting money into anything they don't have some control over. No, that's true. Like I said, the details on this are sketchy at the moment. I'm more inclined to believe what's gone on with Tony than what went on with the other fella last month. Absolutely. ProPixel says, how long do I think till Ratcliffe buys the club? To be honest, I don't even know if Ratcliffe will ever buy the club. I think you could be seeing a situation like you saw with Chelsea. Manchester United, like it or not, is a far more attractive prospect, far better known across the globe than Chelsea is likely to ever be. When Chelsea were forced to be put up for sale because of Roman Abramovich's friendship with Putin, they had 30 or so bids supposedly coming in for the club when the club was valued at in the billions, and there was also like covenants on the sale where they had to spend equivalent to what Roman had been just putting in over the last whatever. So I think if Manchester United came onto the market and it didn't have the restrictions like, oh, you have to spend 1.5 billion on transfers over the next whatever years, I think you would find people clamoring to get hold of the club. And do you know what? I think there's a good chance that there's not that many billionaires that would want to do it. But you've got to remember, sometimes being a billionaire is not necessarily about you having $1 billion in the bank or $1 billion in assets. Sometimes it's about being someone that's got access to funds. So there's companies that might want to buy Manchester United and make it part of their corporation. That, I think, would be more likely to sign in with your phone. And then that's that. Oh, apparently the stream's dead. I'm going to keep talking just on the off chart. Or it might be, by the sounds of things. Did I even go away? I don't know if I went away or not. I can't even see. Is the camera there? Can you hear me? Is it on or not? I can't even tell. A day there. If you can see me, sweet. Otherwise, I'm probably going to have to call it a day. Looks like the internet has defeated me. See you guys in the morning. Laters.